My name's Adam Herman. I oversee DataBank's sales and operations teams. We're going to give you guys a live episode of Tech on Tap. For those that don't know, DataBank puts on a series for our technical folks. We talk a little bit about technology. We talk about the industry. We bring in some of the best nerds that I know to talk about what they're good at and what they're passionate about. During this season, we will rate beers. We have a little bit of fun. And today we've actually got one of our partners, Jadu, to run through Tech on Tap with us. So I'm going to sit down here today. We're going to get moving. It'll probably be about a 20-minute episode here with everyone. We are looking for some engagement from our customers. If you have questions, if there's anything you want to hear more of, please speak up. So we're going to get started here. Well, thanks everyone for joining Tech on Tap at Hyland's Community Live. Our episode today is going to be effective customer service and accessibility and extensibility with our customer, Jadu. I'm going to have them help us a little bit while we explain this. But we're actually coming to you from under the Capitol Wheel here in Maryland. So there's a little bit of noise going on in the background. We are at a customer event. Quick high level on Jadu. Jadu is focused in on empowering effective customers self-service. I'm going to let them really get into it, but I really do want to just welcome Jadu. So we've got Ray and Vince, and I'm going to give the microphone to them to do a really quick intro.
Hello, everybody. I am Vince Carter. I'm the Alliance Manager at Jadu. It's a fancy way of saying that I'm here to help anything that anybody needs in respect to our products. I've been at Jadu for a few months now, but previous to that, I worked at Hyland for about a decade, so super familiar with some of your product suites. This is, I'm not sure how many community lives I've been at, but it's been quite a few. But it's nice to meet everybody. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know.
Thank you, Vince, and good evening, everyone. My name is Ray Dieter. Rule number one in presentations, never apologize, but I'm going to start with an apology. The playlist was amazing, and now you got to listen to us, and I'm sorry about that. But it was good tunes, no doubt. So we'll get back to the music shortly. So again, Ray Dieter, I'm an industry consultant supporting Jadu. I recently retired from Hyland. In fact, this is my 17th community live in a row. And so, yes, a lot of gray in the beard. So it's been a fun evolution of technology. Before working at Hyland, I worked for a company by the name of Stellent. Some of you may have heard of Stellent. They were acquired by Oracle. And then cut my teeth early in my career at Xerox Corporation in the electronic print division. So that's been my past, and real excited to talk to you about Jadu and how we're enhancing and advancing the investments you've already made in your digital journey. So right back to you.
Thanks, guys. So this is my 11th year. I know our CEO, Matt, did this earlier when you got here. But has anyone been to more than 17 community lives? We got back here. Who is that old man back there? Is that Matt Charleston? Okay. Just making sure. That's our CEO, everyone. Say hello. All right. So on Tech on Tap, every episode, we get to have a little bit of fun. This is my favorite part. But we actually rate a beer. So we are not the best at that. So anyone that watched Tech on Tap, I'm not a professional bartender. Those pours are sad. But today these have been pre-poured for us. Coming in here. All right, today we have the Flight Deck IPA from Denison's Brewery, which is local, again, to the Hyland Community Live event in Prince George County. This is a 4.5 ABV. That's about all the information I could find on it. It's right there on tap if you'd like to try one with us. All right, so the rule is you take a few drinks, you got to rate it 1 to 5. The best I've given is a 4.5 in the series. Let's see if we can beat it. All right, I'm gonna go last since I'm the expert. I've done quite a few of these.
Adam, you said out of 5? Best out of 5. Ooh. I think I'll give it a 4.
Any reason you can justify one?
It's delicious.
All right.
4
It's delicious. I'd have another. Interesting, for an IPA, it's not very hoppy. So I was expecting a few more hops. I like that it's a lower alcohol by volume. Nothing worse than being at Community Live and saying stuff you shouldn't be saying after too many beers, right? Not that any of us have done that before. So lower alcohol, that's good. But it just doesn't have a very solid finish to me. So I'm going generous, 3 out of 5.
So this one actually hits me pretty well here. So the number one beer I gave rating 4.5 was the Fairy Nectar. That would have been like a Lincoln, Nebraska beer. I think I might have some more of those in my future tonight. Thank you very much. But this is very similar to that. So it's right on tap. I'd probably give it I'd give it close to that. I'd give it a 4.25. For me, again, I like these hazy IPAs. The sour beers were just not it for me this season. But again, I think everyone should try one. You know, they're right there. They're free. So just keep that word free in mind. So when we get into the topics here, we really start talking about the industry trends. We're going to talk about problems. We're going to talk about solving. Since we have Jadu here, I want to make sure there's a few things people know about Community Live. Matt Charleston talked about it a little bit earlier. But Community Live is great for a lot of things. You're here because of Hyland. You're here because of DataBank. But you should really be here because of the other customers. You will learn more about your industry, what you want to solve by talking to customers while you're here. If you are struggling to meet people, you want to talk about your problems, come to one of the DataBank folks, the Jadu folks. We'll introduce you to people that may have similar use cases or have solved what you're looking for. Hear directly from someone that has already done it. That's my number one advice to everyone here. But since we got Jadu, they are our expert here. They're our partner. DataBank is good at a lot of things, and what we're not, we partner with. So, from the Jadu team, what are the most significant trends, very broadly, that Jadu has been seeing in the last year?
Thank you. So, trends that we're seeing over the course of the last few years is the need for clients to leverage the existing investments they've already made within their technology stack. And one of the things that all the users in this room are very good at is back office application, the ability to run your business, run your internal processes. And the trend that we're seeing is that you've spent years maintaining, developing this content, and through the use of portal technology, through the use of web environments, you now have the ability to put that information in the hands of your customers rather. So that's a big benefit that we're seeing, is having your customers launching a business process, building efficiencies for your business. Very helpful there. You'll find also that the extensibility of taking a platform like this and interoperability with not only the Hyland stack, but other line of business applications you have running within your environment. So the ability to have a consistent presentment layer to all of your customers, very powerful. So that's a key trend. Vince, anything to build?
No, I don't think so. I think that was well put, Ray. I will say that there is this concept of, do we want to bring up the digital layer now? So there's this concept of the digital layer, which is effectively taking all the back office systems and bringing them to the forefront of your customer. So a lot of back office systems are really good at serving you in your business units. However, they're not always the best at serving your customer and whoever that is. So what we do at Jadu is take that data, take those processes, and put it out in front of who your customer may be.
So one thing I just want to bring up too, again, I'm really hitting on the Community Live piece. That's where we are at here. So looking a little bit into the Hyland content portal, it works pretty well with WorkView, right? Can you explain a little bit about how WorkView plays out with this?
I believe that's a question for me. So for the WorkView users out front, yeah, you probably understand the concept of a class, an object, attributes, so on and so forth. But what we don't do in a Hyland like sort of perspective is we don't take that data and say, what, how are our customers going to use it? Kind of like I said before. What we do at Jadu is we take the OnBase integration and the WorkView integration, take that data, put it out front, and how that works behind the scenes is, if you're familiar with a custom query or a filter in WorkView, we take those things and we expose them out to the internet in an accessible way. So maybe it's a permit application in the government space where a person has a WorkView app or an entity has a WorkView app behind the scenes, running a couple workflows, trying to get our constituents a building permit. Well, at some point, that permit's going to have to be delivered to the constituent. What we do is we take those WorkView objects and that workflow data behind the scenes and publish them out to portals in a accessible way from like in a way that your customers can interact without having to talk to you. Now, how that works is it's the most sophisticated integration that we've built so far, and it plugs right into the Hyland API. One of the cool things that it does is it doesn't require a WorkView seat to use it, so your customers can integrate and interact with WorkView without per se having to interact with OnBase, which is a really cool benefit to the product itself.
So the key here is it's out-of-the-box technology, so it's pre-built, purpose-built, and that's comforting to the users, to you folks, because you know it's going to work. The regression testing for future releases when it comes to Jadu interacting with the WorkView environment has fully been vetted for you. And lastly, when it comes to the user experience, think about WorkView and case management almost like an Amazon-like experience for your customer, where now your customers have access to case activity within your business. So if you have customers that are calling your customer reps or walking into your office looking for information that we know are being tracked through case management and WorkView, you now have a vehicle that at any given time your customer can self-serve and look at a status of a permit request, look at a status of something being rebuilt within their county. Maybe it's a pothole. Look at the status of a vendor relationship, where if you're a manufacturing organization and you want a vendor portals. Again, the whole idea is self-service, Matt, that opportunity for organizations to have the ability to identify information, get the information they're looking for quickly without walking into your office or making a phone call. Direct interface with WorkView.
I like the concept of getting more folks to be able to use OnBase, right? Especially you got your end users in there. Now we're getting our customers, we're getting our citizens. That's awesome. With what you're seeing right now and how you're already solving, portal access and getting more information out there in the world, what do you see the next 5 so years looking like to shape up? Because right now you're solving one more problem. Where do you think we're going next? Do you think that's a play with AI, machine learning? That's the buzzwords I keep hearing. But I continue to see people trying to solve the same problems with it that have already been solved.
Perfect. So AI is the big buzzword in the industry right now. One of the cool things about Jadu is making things accessible to humans makes them accessible to machines. And what that means is LLM, large language models, small language models, just the AI world that we see it can integrate with things like your web real estate. And if somebody goes to your favorite search engine and uses their AI tool, whether it's Gemini, Copilot, whatever it may be, you can render Jadu content right from those tools. Very powerful thing. I think that's the industry trend that we're seeing across the board is I'm investing in AI, but I'm not quite sure where the data is coming from and how to get it out. So these are tools that you should talk to DataBank about, because they have some AI tools that can really help augment the whole thing, right? So talk to your team.
Adam, you're bringing in some very valid questions, and AI obviously is the buzzword. You're going to find that the utilization of AI can be abused if you're not smart about it. And what we've done at Jadu is we have the ability, as you build your portals and as you put sample descriptions around some widgets that you may want within your portal, it automatically invokes an AI engine that will give you sample language to say, okay, we know you wrote this. Did you really mean that? And that way you can be more precise in your development efforts when you have these AI engines working against your efforts. So there's great value there. We have a client that, in fact, they coined their AI engine Norbert, where it will automatically triage every email that enters their facility. And based on the content, based on what Vince just shared around LLMs, if there's a high probability that Norbert, the AI engine, has an understanding of what's being requested of the external user, it will generate a automatic response. This client has come back and said they've saved $300,000 in the first year just because they don't have the responsibility of responding to every inbound email that they're receiving. And the beauty is we all understand exception handling, right? So an email that doesn't make sense, you send to a human being, everything else, let it be AI generated. And that's a valuable concept.
I have to ask one question of that. So they've basically used AI to solve more of a simple task that's bringing in higher value, right?
Yep.
So I got to throw an opinion out here. We've been at a lot of events. We've been talking to a lot of customers. I'm hearing the word AI thrown around way too much. AI is great, it's cool, but no one's being AI specific to try to solve a singular problem. They're trying to solve everything, and they're getting nowhere. They're trying to jump 10 years of not doing the work to get it done, and it sounds like you found a way to get a solution out there that brings an ROI. People are trying to go too fast. They're not solving the little problems along the way, and they're failing. So some advice I'd give everyone here is talk to people about AI. Don't ask, hey, what are you doing with AI? Ask what problems are you trying to solve, and then you can figure out what products you're going to use along the way. Jumping a little bit more into, let's talk about leadership insight. You got a lot of leaders here. You got a lot of very technical folks that we could be working with. What advice do you have for those folks right now looking for improving their self-portal access, just really getting the data out there? If you could do it in like elevator pitch, what do you guys have for the customers here today?
So just quick from a leadership perspective, again, it kind of goes back to what we're seeing in the market. You can build applications, but how does someone actually interact with it is very important. And I like to say, and I think I've said this before, it's not always about you, the customer. Sometimes it's about your customer's customer. And that's a different way of thinking than what we've seen in the past. And as a leadership team, we're always thinking about how to improve business processes. But where does it go in the end? I think that gets overlooked a lot of times is where do we take it now? How do we get this data in front of the people who are going to actually use it? Whether that's a vendor or a constituent or whoever that might be. I think the world is changing. People are expecting things in a way that they can digest it. And they want it on their mobile device, right? We are mobile ready at all times. We put guardrails in our software that make you accessible and mobile friendly. So we won't let you do things that will break our solution, even if you try. These are things that leadership should be thinking about in the sense of how do I get the data to the appropriate people in the appropriate time at the appropriate place.
Yeah, if you're not using two words, modern and responsive, in every conversation when someone's talking about presenting content, you may want to rethink your questions. Before I answer the question further, I want to revise my rating. Now that I've had like 2/3 of my beer, I really think it's a 3.5. I mean, I'm warming up to it. Can we get some more? It might be a 4.5 before the night's over. So yeah, it's easy drinking. So again, if you haven't had a tap, what is it? Flight Deck IPA, I recommend it now. Very yummy. So leadership, back, all kidding aside, it really comes down to what is a milestone in our industry. And the fact that all of you are here and that your organizations look at you as change agents tells me you're making an impact within your organization. So kudos to you guys for being here. That's impressive. in a time where travel is not that easy to get approved. So as a change agent, I'm going to come back and say, not only a change agent, but a leader within your organization, you got to connect the dots. And I'll come back to promoting Community Live. You need to talk to customers. You need to talk to vendors. You need to talk to DataBank about stuff you want to do, the art of the possible. And when it comes to leadership, what I'm finding is the milestones within the industry that I've been a part of for 40 years. I woke up not too long ago, it was a July morning. I started in electronic print 40 years ago, and I can tell you the milestones within every decade, and it was document management, document scanning, intelligent scanning, workflow, digital signatures, case management, AI. I'm here to tell you portal technology and access to content remotely is a wave. And it's up to all of you and as leaders to look at how to connect the dots for the business, for your business units.
All right, I got one more comment and one more question. First off, Ray talked about putting the pieces of the puzzle, putting the dots together, right? Thinking a little bit outside the box. While you're at Community Live, when you're at these events talking to all these customers that have solved problems, don't specifically look for, I'm in government for a government solution. Don't specifically look for manufacturing. Don't look specifically in healthcare. The key to being successful is figuring out what problems have been solved that are similar to yours, but yet different. We can take what's already been invented and reshift it. We're doing it every day. But everyone's telling me exactly like, this is my problem in government and I want this solved. So we can't be that way. That's not what DataBank does. We try to continuously reuse what's out there, not reinvent to get to the ROI a little faster, get to your citizens a little quicker. So Ray, Vince, here's a question for you. The DataBank team in government is really throttling down on Jadu. They know what they're doing, where we're going. Give me a commercial space, a healthcare space instance. Give me a use case. Where have you done business outside of government with Jadu?
So let's talk a little bit about vendor portals, right? We all have vendors. We all have invoices. We all have at least accounts payable. We all have to pay bills, right? So is there a place in our organization for our vendors, the people who need to collect money from us, to go and do that in a way that makes it efficient for you? That's synonymous across all industries, right? Like, how do we collect money from people? What we can do at Jadu is we can take the front end process of that, take some data from maybe OnBase or someplace else, push it out to the portal and say, hey, this is how much we paid you, this is when we did it. All that data that lives in those back office systems can come to the forefront. And now our vendors can use that data, and you can even prove some things. Maybe there are some benefits to paying early. You can go out there and you could say that, hey, we paid you on this date and we deserve that benefit. So that's one thing that we can do across the space. And I don't want to take up too much time, but Ray, do you have anything else?
Yeah, when it comes to a higher education or commercial, I don't know the cross section of the audience today, but I can tell you that in all cases, and we can go down the list, there are applications where content needs to be surfaced in a modern mobile environment for higher education. And I can tell you that getting access to the student population, which is riveted around their smartphones, has been a very successful position for us. Because again, what we're doing is, think about it, we're taking your back office business process and surfacing it to the end user and letting that student, in this case that I'm thinking about, letting the student launch the process when it comes to a parking permit, when it comes to what they want to do about changing classes and courses. This is all taking place and it's all self-service. So again, when you connect the dots, put the pieces of the puzzle together, think of your business and think about, how can I extend or enhance what I'm already doing internally for my external users? That is the message.
With that, I'll take that as the final question. The Jadu team, it was great talking to y'all here today. I hope that the folks that are here got a little bit out of it. Those that are watching too, hopefully you enjoyed the show. This is kind of a little extra after season 1. I was pretty excited. We did get 1,400 followers in season 1. If this is something you like, let us know, subscribe. Also, thank you to, where's Connie Mae? She was our first customer to send me beer to sample. I think that came from her son's brewery in Jordan, Minnesota. So pretty exciting. I think our next run is going to be like a Tech on Tap Roadshow. So please talk to Sam in marketing if you'd like to sign up. So thank you all for coming to Community Live, hanging out with DataBank. We're excited to see you at our DataBank event in the upcoming nights. Thank you all.